All right, so question 5 on the review, it says a manufacturer cuts squares from the corners of a 10 by 16 centimeter piece of sheet metal and then folds the metal to make an open top box. Find the height of the box if the volume must equal 78 cubic centimeters. So what we do is we know that volume equals length times width times height. And really it doesn't matter which one you call the length and the width, but if you look at the side in blue, which is 16 centimeters, if I cut out an X here and an X here, I'm left with a 16 minus 2X there, so we'll call that our length. And then your width from top to bottom is 10, but if I cut out an X here and an X here, you're left over with 10 minus 2X. And then when you fold, the height of the box will be X. We want our volume to equal 78 cubic centimeters. Okay, so we're not maximizing the volume. We want to know what are the dimensions that equal 78. And this is where you would head to your graph, and you could do two things. You could graph this as like your y1 and this side as your y2 and see where they intersect. Or you could set it equal to 0, because then you only have to graph one equation and see what your x-intercepts are. So when you go and plug this into Desmos, you get a graph that looks like this, and it goes up really high, down, and then back up, okay? So what we're looking for are the x-intercepts because we set it equal to 0 instead of doing two graphs and seeing where they intersect. So this x-intercept is 0.599 comma 0. This one here is 3.777 comma 0. And this one right here is 8.624 comma 0. So what this is telling us is that when the height of the box is 0.599, our volume will equal 78. Or if the height is 3.777, the volume will equal 78. Or if it's 8.624, it'll equal 78. Now this is where you have to make sure that your answer makes sense. Because if you think about this, we'll start with the 8.624. If you were to plug this in, right here into 10 minus 2x, that would give you a negative width, okay? If you plug that into the 16 minus 2x and you plug that in for x, that would also give you a negative length. So we know that 8.624 can't work. It's too big. Because you have to remember, when you go plug this into your calculator doesn't know that this equation is representing volume. So then we look at 3.777. If you were to plug that into 10 minus 2x, you would have a positive number. If you plugged it into 16 minus 2x, you would still have a positive number. So that would work. And then if you plug in the other one, which was smaller than that, I think 0.599, I don't know why this isn't showing. There we go. 0.599, 16 minus 2 times 0.599, you still have a length. 10 minus 2 times 0.599, you still have a width. So it says find the height of the box if the volume must equal 78 cubic centimeters. It can be, the height can equal 0.599 centimeters or 3.77 centimeters. Make sure you label, and you do have to list both of them. It didn't ask you for the rest of the dimensions. If it did, you would plug that in to 16 minus 2x and 10 minus 2x to figure out your dimensions when the height is 0.599. And then you would also have to plug in 3.777 into 16 minus 2x and 10 minus 2x to figure out the rest of your dimensions.